I'd like to call the March 13th meeting to order. Is Reverend Hunt here? I'm sorry, Reverend, I didn't see you. Could you please step forward for our invocation? This is Reverend Dr. James Hunt from New Hope Christian Church.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
And just let me apologize beforehand. I have to go over the Bible study after this, so pray for me. Every head bowed, every eye closed. Our Lord and our God, our hope and our joy, we come together tonight, thanking you for your continued grace and mercy that knows no end. You have blessed us in our going out and our coming in with every good thing from above, including your peace, your provision, and your protection. And so we say thank you. Now, oh God, we ask your blessings for our first responders, our schools, our businesses, our homes, as well as our families. Help us all to love and to care for one another as members of a beloved community. Finally, Lord God, be present with us at this meeting. We ask especially that you grant the officers that govern this village with divine humility and wisdom as they make decisions that will give our community not just economic but spiritual increase in every way. Finally, Heavenly Father, let us all in fact abide and be governed by your holy word to always act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with you. These things we ask in the mighty and the marvelous and the majestic name of Jesus. And all the people say it together.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now could you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Here.
Trustee Horn?
Here.
Trustee Razik? Trustee Udris?
Here.
Okay, before we move to open to the public, I just want to mention that Trustee Razik did call and he will not be able to make it tonight. So he's not tardy, he just cannot make it. With that, open to the public, non-agenda items. Agenda items only. There I go. Please step forward if you have something you'd like to talk about on the agenda. If not, we'll move to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mann.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the consent agenda? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pop. Just a couple things. I wanted to notify that last Wednesday, myself and Deputy Clerk Powell had the opportunity to attend our Will Grundy Clerks Association meeting in Joliet. The special speaker was our field representative, Steve Kalezi from the State's Archives Division, and it was very informative. We also went through the process of how to get things updated in the village, and I've contacted the state to see if they had a application on file for us to be able to go through those things. And we do have one on file. It was dated from 1987. And so we're in the process of going through things to get it updated, and I'm awaiting to hear back from him so that we can update things in the village. Also, for those wanting to vote early outside of our regular early voting dates, the early voting begins at 20 additional sites on this coming Monday, the 18th. And that's in addition to the Will County Clerk's Office. But the information for any of the additional sites can be found on our website. And the village, our early voting will not start until Monday, March 25th. End of report.
Thank you very much. I have one item on my report. We're going to have a special meeting Monday at 7:30 at 6:30 meeting on Monday. I have to tell the trustees it's an extremely important meeting. I need at least 3 trustees to make it. I hope we all can make it. It has to do with our tower and our well system, and it's very important. Go ahead. I'm sorry?
It is Monday, March.
Monday, the 18th at 6:30. That is the end of my report. Vote on it?
Oh, no, that's okay, I'm sorry.
No, I don't think we have
As
to.
long as it's in the
Yeah.
minutes.
Yes, it's in the minutes. Okay, we'll move on to the administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. The item that appears on the agenda, item H1, I was not supplied the supporting documentation, therefore, I have no report this evening.
Okay, move on to officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Gray.
A couple of things tonight, and they actually tie together. The Public Works Department is now out since we're getting to the springish, the weather's breaking. The retention and ponds for maintenance for the rainy season, they will be putting down traps for beavers, which actually they do come out. They're cleaning up as much as they can, but again, as far as the residents go, especially the kids, we had this issue before. Please don't be messing around with the traps. This is for the village because the ponds are actually not, how do you want to say, for play, for fishing, for hanging around. We do try to keep them cleaned up as much as possible, and this is at the village cost for putting the traps in there and cleaning up all of the debris that has happened over the winter. In the same breath, I did meet with our attorney last night for a couple hours to talk about the fishing ordinance, and we will be moving forward with that in the coming future. We did bounce around a lot of ideas at each other last night, and we almost are close to having a committee meeting to put it to our committee to see where we want to move forward. So, end of report.
Thank you very much, Trustee Gray. We'll move on to Parks and Recs, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't have any announcements for park events per se, and one of the reasons is that Diana's father is not doing well, and so keep her and her family in your prayers if you would do that, please. Now, I do have 2 announcements, events for the Monee Historical Society, but I don't know if I should say them. Oh, you want me to say them? Okay. Christy is letting me publicize these. So the first one, this sounds really interesting. This is Thursday, March 14th. This is the Monee Historical Society presents The Legend of Princess Monee, Fact versus Fiction. Mary Lefevre Bailey, her family, and how the legend began. And there's a picture of her in her American Indian garb. So that looks really interesting. It's at the Park Building, 7:30 on March 14th. It is free, and there's even light refreshments served. So that's free. Now, this next event is not free, but it's well worth your time. It is a pancake breakfast for our Monee Historical Society. This is the 8th annual pancake breakfast. It will be held at Shoop's. It will consist of pancakes, sausage, fruit, and beverage, and the tickets are only $8. So we hope you can all come out and support the Monee Historical Society. This would be, did I not say when it is? Thank you. March 30th. March 30th, so that's a Saturday, March 30th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., March 30th. End of report.
I would just like to tag on to that and say that the Monee Historical Society has been together since, what year?
2011.
2011, and they've been doing a lot of work becoming tax exempt and getting a lease from the village itself, because we own the building. And I was happy to be looking at some construction drawings they're at that point. They have an architect, their drawings are very thorough, and they're ready to proceed with that, so please, let's help them out as much as we can. You know what construction costs these days, and they're trying to bring that building back and put a museum in there for one thing, and we're not sure about the rest of it, but there'll be something else in there. They get some ideas, so thank you very much, Doug. We'll move on to finance. Trustee Booth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you may know, the Finance Committee have been meeting for 3 weeks to discuss the budget, to review the budget first, and then to look at how we can balance it as best we can. Our fourth and final meeting was supposed to be yesterday, but we rescheduled it because we want to come together to put our final version of the budget together with as close as we can possibly make it to the anticipated revenue and expenses. So we thought waiting for 2 more weeks would give us that number, and so the next and we hope final budget meeting is on Tuesday the 26th of March. It's at 6 o'clock. It's here in the Village Hall. Also, the Beautification Committee have met, and we are talking about Earth Day, which will happen this first Saturday after Easter. So more information will come out on that, but if you're interested in talking about it or getting involved, certainly just let me know, and I'll make sure that you're involved. End of report. Thanks.
And if I may tag on to you, Janet, if you don't mind, Trustee Blue. It's a very difficult thing, the budget for the Village of Monee. It's a very, very difficult thing. We have to cut over $1 million out of the budget every year because we don't have the income coming in to support our largest budget, let me say it that way, our largest. People get raises, costs go up. We don't get that much more tax money, so it's pretty rough on us to come up with this. We've had our department's heads involved in it, and nobody's a happy camper when we're doing this, but we want a balanced budget or as close as we can get to it. It's the right thing to do for the taxpayers. End of my speech. So we'll move on to economic developments. Scott, yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had the pleasure of attending the Monee Chamber of Commerce meeting, and a few things from them that I'd like to bring up for everybody. First, a reminder that next Tuesday, March 19th, 7 p.m. sharp, at St. Paul's Church is going to be the Meet the Candidates Forum. Highly encourage everybody that can to come out. It's your chance to hear what everybody has to say, what their plans are, what they want to do to help our community. If you have any questions that you'd like to submit to that, you can email in your questions to candidateforum@yahoo.com. Next, the Chamber of Commerce is also taking applications for their 2 scholarships for students that reside within the village or unincorporated Monee Township. Applications have to be postmarked no later than April 26th. For more information for this, you can visit the Monee Chamber's website at moneechamber.org or give a call at 708-421-1786, and they'll be glad to give you all the information for that. Also, the Ralph Phelan Award, they're accepting nominations for that. This is an award that's presented to an individual who you feel has made a significant volunteer contribution to the betterment of the community within the last year. Members of the community are encouraged to submit their recommendations for this award. And again, the deadline for this is also April 26th. So, and more information, that's also available on their website. For business owners and within the village, they're hosting a business after hours at Lavas Latte and Vino on Monday, March 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. So all businesses are welcome for that. The Monee Elementary PTO is having their pasta dinner fundraiser. That's going to be Saturday, March 23rd from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. And that's going to be over on Will Center Road at the elementary school. And finally, Riverside is offering, let's see, this was last night, so never mind on that one. As the last part of my report, I'm actually going to turn the floor over to Kevin Daly, our economic director. He has something he would like to share with everybody.
Thank you and good evening. The mayor and I this morning had the good fortune to attend a roundtable function at Amazon's MDW4 facility in Joliet. They gathered representatives of each of the communities that have Amazon fulfillment centers, and they kind of did spend a little time explaining how Amazon's inventory shifts between places and how part of how they do their magic. They had a map that showed all of the locations that Amazon has in Will County, and it now is, I think, up to 9. You all are familiar with MDW7, our fulfillment center, but I'm pleased to announce that Monee is going to be home to ORD4. There will be a second facility in Monee that is Amazon. They're taking up space at 25810 South Ridgeland, which is immediately south of their current location. It's a mod facility or a make-on-demand facility in which they have raw materials. They have raw materials, and they'll put those materials together to make, physical media that you can take, be it books or CDs. They have you can self-publish your works through Amazon and sell through Amazon. So they will have book binding and hardcover. And a unique example they shared of how it's found use in the past was in 2009 when Michael Jackson passed away. They made a run on the CDs that they had in all the stores. Now, today things are different. We're not necessarily going to run out and buy CDs, but they made a run on all the CDs at the stores. But Amazon has relationships with the folks who have the masters, and they said, go ahead and print away. So it's pretty neat that they can print books that are out of print, or if you had a work that you wanted to have published, it could be made right here in Monee. So the project overall is going to exceed 80,000 square feet and more than $5 million of capital investment, and will exceed 100 employees when it's at peak hours. So that's
I have
it.
a question for
Yes.
you, Kevin. When do we expect this to start and finish?
I think they're working on cultivating the space right now. I would imagine it would be open and functioning this calendar year.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Kevin, is that on the west side of Ridgeland that is going to be built?
Well, it's in a building that right now is XPO Logistics.
Okay.
They're going to take part of the north end of the building. Like right now, there's an available sign,
Right.
but that's the tenant that they have signed up.
Okay.
And that's where it'll be.
That's awesome.
That all?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Building Services, Anthony isn't here, and we don't have a rep from the building department, so I know, David, my administrator's been running the building department, so that's something that, until we hire someone. David, anything you want to say about the building department?
Well, yes, Mayor, and to be truthful, I am not totally running the building department. We have an excellent staff in there, and a staff person that the board has allowed us to hire previously. But nevertheless, things are moving forward. As Kevin alluded to, some permits were picked up today for that specific site, and things are moving along quite well.
Thank you, David. We'll move to Public Safety, Trustee Gonzalez.
No report.
Okay, Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. Attorney's report. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor. Got a couple items for the board's review and consideration. The first item is a collateral assignment, a conditional assignment of developer's note. This is on the Amazon transaction. What's happening here is the developer is assigning their interest in the TIF note over to Amazon. It's similar to what we've done before in past on different projects on Ridgeland and Cleveland Avenue. What's before the board tonight, it doesn't affect us, it just affects where the payment goes, like we've done before in the past. What you would need tonight, if the board deems appropriate, a motion authorizing the mayor. I don't think you need an ordinance, just a motion authorizing the mayor to execute the assignment of the developer's note to Amazon Incorporated.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make the motion.
Any discussion on it? Roll call, please.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is an ordinance amending Title 3, Chapter 3, Section 6 regarding the Class E liquor license. I believe this came up before the board at the last board meeting. I was directed to draft the ordinance, which I did. It's up for the board's review and consideration.
Could I have a motion on that, please?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, a motion. Is there a second to that? If not, a motion to table?
I'll make the motion to table.
I'll second Any discussion on the motion?
I'd like to just give a little reason as to why.
Sure.
Yeah, because Trustee Raitzik was the one who introduced this to us and obviously has some say in it. And because he's not here this evening, I think it's only fair that we wait and talk it through together so that he has the opportunity to vote on it when he gets back.
Okay. Any other discussion?
If we
Yes.
remember the discussion that night, all we were looking at was another business in town who was looking to better themselves, and that's what we want. They are pulling water, but they're afraid that if they don't better themselves, they might lose their business. And as a village, we don't want any business to lose their business. So that's why I went with the motion, and that's what I'll stand by. Again, all a business is looking to do is just better themselves, and why wouldn't you?
Any other discussion?
I agree with what Trustee Gray is saying, but I think rather than just keep doing these as a case-by-case basis with this, I think we need to have a discussion first as to how many total of these we're going to allow within the village, and then proceed with starting to approve who we're going to actually give them out to. You know, I'm in support of them doing this, but I think we need to kind of set a bigger picture first, and I think that's why I think Trustee Razik would be good to have here for that.
Any other discussion? Roll call on the motion to table.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gray?
No.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe the record should reflect, though, the table to the next board meeting, which is
Yes.
April. Is it April?
The next regular
26th,
board meeting would be
26th,
in April.
27th.
27th of March.
27th,
That was
yeah.
close. We had the right year, right?
That boy, Larry.
The last item I have, Mayor, is an ordinance amending Ordinance 1851. This is regarding NFPA 70 National Electrical Code. I was asked to change or delete section 210.12 regarding arc fault circuit interruption protection. What that is, I don't know, but it's up before the board, so. It sounds good, though, right?
Sounds technical.
Any discussion on the, I
I'll
need a
make that
motion, I'm
motion,
sorry.
Mr. Mayor.
I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this?
Mayor, since you were an electrician for many years, can you explain this?
I really didn't want to, but I
Okay.
will.
Okay.
No, it's fine. An arc fault breaker is a special breaker that demands a separate white wire with it. In normal homes, you're allowed to take a neutral wire with two live wires. Let me say it that way, A and B. You can't have two A's with one white, but you can have an A and a B because your lights here are blinking on and off 60 times a second, and when this one's positive, this one's negative, so the neutral is only carrying one. But the arc fault, they want its own neutral, which is going to cause a lot of rewiring on homes that are going to be for sale and what have you. And this ordinance, I believe 1851, we're excluding it, are we not? Yes, we are. And I'm actually in favor of it. It's not unsafe. We have ground fault breakers. They just keep coming up, you know. Let's put sprinkler heads in every home too. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so negative, but I'm for us not having arc fault breakers. It's so costly, okay? Period.
Thank you.
Sure.
Very helpful.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Udris,
Yes.
Trustee Blue,
Yes.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez, Trustee Horn,
Yes.
1903.
Nothing else
That's
on
all I
yours,
have.
Larry, and we're good there? Okay, we'll move to old business. Is there any old business? Trustees. If not, we'll move to new business. Any new business?
I just have a couple of announcements, Mayor. First of all, I'm really excited about the fact that we almost have our very first squadron of the Civil Air Patrol.
That's right.
Remember, we started that about a year ago, and the squadron leader got in touch. He is working with our EMA director because they're going to share some space and share services, and so they are very excited. Once that's confirmed, they'll let us know and make an announcement. That'll be our very first ever Civil Air Patrol squadron. The other announcement is we now have our very own Women's Auxiliary as part of the American Legion Monee post. They met for the first time yesterday. If anybody doesn't know what the Women's Auxiliary is all about, it is the largest volunteer organization in the country, possibly the world. I can't put my signature to that, but their role is simply to serve veterans, men and women who've served our country, whether it's to keep them informed of their rights that they've already earned as a veteran, to help them with any health and welfare issues, all of those things. Gold Star families will be addressing. There's lots of things on the agenda, so I'm very excited to say that we now have our very own Women's Auxiliary.
Okay, Janet,
Thank you.
I'll mention one thing, and maybe I shouldn't, but the rumor has it around that I was in the hospital, and I was for a couple of days. And I just want to tell you that everything is fine. In fact, I'm better now than I was when I went in, obviously. I've even dropped about 15 pounds, and
There you go.
I'm looking for a whole lot more. Let's get yourself in shape, Mr. Pop, and be even, how about a little more alert than I am, or whatever. So everything is fine, though. So we'll move on to open to the public, non-agenda items. Anybody? Please step forward, give your name, address, and you got 30
Evening.
seconds. You got 30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right, I'll talk fast. I'm Christy Holston, 5326 West Main Street. I am the president of the Monee Historical Society. So I just wanted to address the group and the community and some people who didn't know by a little bit of a recap. The Monee Historical Society was started in 2011 as the Save the Creamery Foundation. The aim was to save one of the few remaining historical buildings within the village. It's the only creamery in Will County that's made out of Lockport limestone, which is a big deal. In 2016, the creamery was dedicated as Will County Historic Landmark and confirmed by such by village ordinance. So thanks to the support of the village and the people of the Monee, there's been some improvements already. A new roof on the building was donated. And for the past year, we have hired an architect who has been diligently working with the group to formulate plans, blueprints, make sure we're doing everything exactly for the long term. We don't want to just slap some paint on something, but we want to make this building a true asset to the village. As we all know, this is a village asset. We all own the creamery building by virtue of being citizens of the town. We now have a full set of blueprints, and we are ready to begin construction. The only thing that we need to complete construction is money. So we are starting a community-wide year-long fundraising initiative to try to raise those funds through donations, both corporate and private, and as well as grants and any source that we can find. Without the support and vision of the village governing bodies, in not tearing down this valuable asset that they own in the first place, but rather investing in it and supporting in it by repurposing it for future use, the village is doing a very far-sighted thing for the good of all. The building is meant to be not just a museum with dusty displays, but a living and breathing centerpiece of the community life. As you know, Monee has long struggled with having any sort of a focal point for the community events. The park and the park area being the one central location, and we hope to see the Creamery building restored and used daily as a centerpiece of that. We have made some other strides. David Holston has agreed. He was the first president of the Save the Creamery Foundation, and he has now agreed to act as the project manager for the renovation and construction portion of the program. And we are looking for the continued support of the village is critical, as well as of all the citizens of the village. To that end, we're announcing our first, tomorrow night we're going to have a program. It's on the history of Monee, and we're also going to have a special presentation of a donation to kick off the year. So we'd like everybody to come to that, 7:30, right next door at the Park Building, as well as speak about Monee and why we're named after Monee and whether she was a princess and whether that picture in the post office is actually her. And so we'd like you all to come to that. The second thing, it's our annual fundraiser, and we would like to make this a banner year. We would like to have record sales this year. It's the annual pork chop dinner, as Trustee Horn and the mayor also announced. It will be on the 30th. What did I say? Pork chop. Oh, not pork chop, sorry. That's another story.
Pork chops instead?
different place. The pancakes, no pork chops will be served on Saturday, but there will be sausage, so it's close enough. So the annual pancake breakfast, there'll be some raffles there. We are inviting everyone to come. Trustee Blue has tickets, so does the mayor, so do I, if anybody would like to get those this evening. Otherwise, you can get them up at Shuf's or from any one of us. We would encourage all the village and township and county officials and candidates to attend this, as there'll be a lot of people there, so it's always a good opportunity for everybody to network and also support a very, very worthy cause. So hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have to say, this is an item that's dear to my heart also. And because we are on TV right now, and I don't know how many people watch the station, but there'll be I'll call it a minor donation, and I'll say it's my wife and I that are doing it, because it's a good time to say it. Hopefully tomorrow will be the same thing. We're hoping to hit the newspaper with it, and my wife and I are making a private donation to the creamery, and with hopes that other will follow in the same footsteps. David Holston, looks like you'd like to say something.
David Holston, 5326A, West Main, Monee, Illinois. You probably wonder why I'm sitting back there and she's sitting up here. It's because she's tired of me. Welcome, friends. And I say that because even though I've been a trustee, I know everybody on this board. I know virtually everybody in the room behind me as well. And I've only been in Monee 20-some years. My wife's family was born and raised here and helped us start the town along with a number of other people. The building we're talking about is the oldest existing example of Lockport limestone in Will County. It was deeded to the village by the fire department many years ago. It's part of our history, and history is one of those things that give us something to start with. Something we don't want to forget. A few years ago, we had a school here that somebody decided to tear down, and that's what they did. They tore it down. In 2011, we were 2 weeks away from that building being torn down here. 2 weeks. And it just so happened somebody sat on our porch and told us about it. And I'm not going to say I did anything, because even though I might have been the president, I'm just the face. The real work's done behind me. And we worked very hard to save the building, and now our goal is to restore the building. We're not doing construction, we're doing remodeling. We're going to take a building that's now designated as a historic site, and we're going to restore the building. We have enough artifacts to fill that building 2 times over right now. We have people in Monee that are more than willing to give us more artifacts if we had room to store them. Some of those artifacts are over here in the building next door, up on the top. Some of those artifacts are at our home because we don't have room over there next door, and I'm running out of room in my house right now to put them as well. we want to be able to share them with the community. We want to make them something that people, when they come to Monee, stop in at the Historical Society to see those things. That's what they do at Manhattan. That's what they do at other sites. We believe in that site, and for that reason, I am the coordinator for the project, but I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid for it. We depend upon a lot of resources to be able to do this. The roof that was put on a couple of years ago was done with material from Home Depot that was donated. It was done with labor from APEC that was donated. $8,750 of the engineering that was done this last year was donated by the architect. Sent us a bill, but at the bottom of the bill wrote $0. The $25,000 that the village had in the budget this last year will be used by the end of April. We're doing the first 2 phases of the drawing, which I have and Administrator Wallace has as well, and those will be done by the end of April as well. We need seed money. The total project estimate is $500,000. Now, we know we can do it for much less than that, but it's going to take people who volunteer time, and in some cases it's going to take donors as well, and we're working on donors already. The village part of that, budget-wise, is $25,000. I understand it's been taken out of the budget, so I won't beat around the bush. We need to put back in the budget. We need that money because we need to be able to show people that the village who owns the building also has skin in the game. And we're going to go out and start working on donors to help donate the money. We're going to spend some time. I know we have a tight budget, but I know $25,000 out of over $2 million in a budget is a relatively small amount for a building that we already own. We need your help. We hope that you will consider this as you put together your budget for this year. I will be at the Finance Committee when they have the next one as well to speak to that as well. I'll be happy to speak with any of the trustees regarding the drawings and some of the plans. And to the public, anybody that would like to donate either financially or certified labor, everything we do will be done with village permit. We met with Mr. Wallace this week, and we'll continue to focus this through the village because, again, this is a village-owned building. Thank you for your time.
One of the largest cost-saving things they'll have on this project, for example, I'll give you one. They bring in an electrical contractor to put in a new service, which it needs. New panels, new breakers, new power. And then we want to get, and we have licensed electricians in this village that we want to work on the building and do the rest of the electrical work. That's going to save a ton. And if we can do that with every trade, if they can do that with every trade, it's a big cost savings. So they're trying to use the pool out there, and boy, they're going to start moving on this if they can raise some money. Thank you very much, David and Christy. Any other open to the public? If not, we do have something going on in executive session. I'd like a motion to move into executive session. A second? Second. Yes, ma'am.
For compensation for employees.
Oh, I'm sorry. My lawyer always covers me. I have to announce what it's for. 51LC 120/2, C1 compensation for specific employees. So we'll be discussing some things in executive session. Again, I'm sorry, I never know how long we'll be. We could be a little while, we could be, who knows, just a little while, but roll call on executive session, please.
Trustee Blue? Yes. Trustee Gray? Yes. Trustee Gonzalez? Yes. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.